I thought we should start where we left with what was the sentence was that we are becoming more human doings than human beings, and we can explore out of there, and we'll see where this will take us.
Human doings and human beings. This is a great one, is a big one, and it has been actually a big topic for me. So I've been in the process of unbecoming the human doer and the process of becoming of more human being. And literally yesterday I had a conversation with a friend, a very good friend of mine, and moving to Portugal, the idea was also to have a slower living, meaning that I want to be more than do more, which has been, kind of my identity in my life throughout most of my life, I would say, up until, I don't know, a couple of years ago. And I'm still in the process of unbecoming the doer.
And this is the thing, how to become more like a human being, not to be so much human doing, if we are using this phrase. And I don't know, maybe it would be good to start with exploring where does this actually begin. Why do we need to constantly do something to distract ourselves? What's the need beneath this doer personality? What do you think?
I think there might be several reasons why we're so much in doing. One of them being what we learned, right? Like what we learned as kids, that being is not enough. So we might have learned that, I have to do certain things a certain way, that I am accepted, that I am loved, that I'm cared for. And if we learn it when we were little, then we just repeat it. Because, we survived that way and we are here. So this is, I think, one of the reasons, one of our strategies, survival strategies. And another reason why we are so much in doing is that being can be quite uncomfortable, because when we're being with what is, and oftentimes what isn't comfortable for us. We don't want to look at this, right?
But,
sorry.
but isn't that strange? Because if we look at human being from the evolutionary point of view, probably we had to be in our being before we came to the doing part. But now it's uncomfortable just to be. So it's somehow we flip it backwards, or or how
totally.
to put it.
Totally.
And it is strange. I totally agree that this is something that we learned throughout, I don't know, our childhood, from parents, from our society, school system, and so on. But it's strange that in many cases we are aware of this, that we are doing something to distract ourselves, that we would need to be more at ease and so on. But at the same time, we believe that our worth needs to be like earned. It's still somehow, we are still programmed. I know I have to be at ease. I have to have my time and so on. But I still think that I'm not enough. I have to earn that I'm worthy.
First I have to work 10, 12 hours to then allow myself, to take off an hour for myself. Yes. Yeah. So I think this is what we really learned. And I think that the generation of our parents, like, there was a generation that they were very hard workers, and they needed to work hard in order to make the money, to support the family. There was also very different times economically and in many other ways. So I think this is what we picked up from them. And also what came to mind when you were saying that, when we are in doing, like when we do things, like just imagine like you take a phone and you just scroll, right? We get the instant reward, right? We get all the dopamine hits, and it's not, so we know like, oh, actually I wanted to go for a walk, right? And I wanted to do less, I wanted to relax. Or also with food, right? Like we know we should be eating more broccoli than chocolate. And how often do we eat broccoli and how often do we eat chocolate? So this is the instant gratification that, the body is kind of wired to tell us like, yeah, let's go for this. Like we don't think long term what would be good for us long term. I mean, it requires a lot of discipline to be able to decide, being very discerning. And because we know like eating broccoli would be better for us long term than eating just chocolate, right? Or we also know
Yeah.
that doing sports would be better for us than, just doom scrolling. And we still do this because of the gratification, because of the word that we get in the moment.
Yeah, but at the same time, we get used to the awards so quickly,
Yeah.
and there's never enough, because I don't know if the reward is, I don't know, 10 likes on Instagram, I would like 15 next time. And if the
Exactly.
reward is a piece of chocolate, I would like to have 2 pieces or 3 next time. So
Yes.
it's never enough. And then we somehow get caught into this loop of constant unsatisfaction, because it gives us gratification, but it's simply we would like to have more. It's not
Yeah.
enough.
It's such a good point that you're bringing up. Like it is like an addiction, right? Like you start with
Mm,
with a little dose, and then you need more, and then you need more, and then you
mm,
need more. So then instead of like being 5 minutes on social media, it becomes like 5 hours, and then you're
mm,
like
mm,
at 2 a.m. in the night, and it's like, okay, well, what have I been doing like for 5 hours straight now? Just because,
mm,
yeah, this is like we start with like just a little bit of it, and then we get more and more and more, or we need
mm.
more to get the same experience, because we do want to get the reward, right?
Yeah, it just popped into my mind now. I had a interesting conversation with some guy. He's a corporate leader, and he said that he does not understand younger generations, because they said, oh, he for example, he asked those guys, oh, what are your plans for for this vacation, for this summer, for instance, or
Mm-hmm.
what will you do in the near future? And they were just like, oh, I don't know, I will just go with the flow, whatever life brings. I will
Yeah.
take. And he couldn't understand, because he said they are completely, they have no ambition. It's like they have no goals and no ambitions. And
Mm.
I think that we maybe confuse this. If I will be more human being than human doing, then I don't have goals which are big enough, and then I'm not ambitious, and I cannot progress in my life as I should, or I would maybe like to progress in my life. So
Mm-hmm.
where's the line? What do you think? Where is this line between being ambitious and still be the human being, not just human doing?
Yeah. Yeah. So I just wonder how old this person was, this guy was or is.
Probably about 50.
Yeah, I wanted to say probably like our generation and older, because
Yeah.
yeah, as I said before, this is exactly how we're programmed, right? That younger generations, they operate differently, and I think we can learn quite a bit from them. This is what I am learning for myself, right? To go more with the flow. So do I have plans? Do I have ambitions? Fuck yes, I do. And do I also want to be more open to what comes? Because sometimes with very rigid and strict plans, we don't see other opportunities and other possibilities, because like we just see like this one thing that we're going towards to, and maybe there is something else, maybe even better, like outside of this tunnel. So I think it is a beautiful dance between, yes, having a goal, kind of like but more like a north star, right? That you know that okay, this is the direction, but the way to get there doesn't have to be a straight line, right? We can go
Mm,
left, we
mm,
can go right. So this is, I think, what the younger generations are doing. Like they just flow more. I
mm.
don't know. Like I don't know if they really don't have any goal. You need to talk to them, but because I can imagine that they do actually. They just
Yeah,
approach life differently.
Yeah. Because we were asking ourselves, is then the being enough, is being enough then the end of ambition? But probably it's not. We just have to have like an aligned living. We need to know what we actually want in our life. We need to know our values and then set our vision which is aligned with those goals. Maybe our generation and older were like, the path was already somehow written in advance, so you have to follow the proven path. You have to be good at school, then you have to get a job, you have
Yeah.
to be promoted in your job, you have to get married. This is like these
Yeah.
are steps which you need to follow.
Yeah. Yeah. And well, it's interesting that you say that because I started following this path until the point where I realized like that isn't really working for me. Yes, you get a lot of validation, you get a lot of praise from everybody, like, from the society, from family, but like that wasn't my thing. So, how I describe it? Also, when I work with my clients, this is like the beaten path, right? Like, you know what to do. You graduate, like, you finish school, you graduate, you go to college, studies, and you get a job, and then, and then you just continue. So this is like a huge highway, right? Everybody goes there and you can go full speed. If you decide to go a different way, right, you have to kind of like carve out your way through the jungle because nobody is going there or very few people. So of course it's easier to just go, high speed on the highway because everybody's going there and I can go like, super fast instead of, taking an axe and making your way through the jungle, right? And even finding the way. So yeah, I would say not the easiest path and super rewarding if it's yours. And there is another thing I wanted to say about the younger generation because I believe they don't have what we have. This feeling of I have to prove myself, I have to earn my worth, I have to earn my free time. I think like they know much better what they want and what they don't want, and they would not compromise. Like,
Do you think that this is the key component of this is safety? Because I think that older generations, even our generation, maybe we didn't feel so safe throughout our childhood. Not safe in a way that there was like war threat or something, but more in a way that there was no such, overall there was no such financial abundance than now. More people struggled from day to day to earn
yes,
the paycheck and to have enough money so their family could survive. And now it's pretty much enough money to, not for all, but in general, it's enough money
yeah,
to feel safer than before, and they can afford like to be more at ease and to follow different paths.
yeah. I think there is a lot to what you said. That the economical situation is very different right now, and I also think that how like the way we live right now, we have so many more opportunities these days. Like, I mean, just take an example. I don't want to go the rabbit hole of AI, but you can do so much with AI. 5 years ago, well, it wasn't really a thing. Like when we were growing up, we didn't have internet. Like, so I think the jump or everything that has changed within like actually one generation is just huge. It's insane. So I think it's a combination of probably many different things. But I have a feeling that the feeling of like, yeah, money, but not only money, like all the information, everything is accessible, is there, and like I just need to click, and it's right in front of me, which
Yeah, that's
makes
true.
so many things so much easier these days.
That's true. Yeah, and it's interesting because also if I see from my perspective, I was following I'm still actually on the path that was somehow written for the whole society at, I don't know, my time or whatever
Yeah.
I can call this. Because I also was at school, and then after school I got a job, I was promoted, and so on, and I'm still on that path. But I think something happens. Maybe it is something on that quote from, I think it's Carl Jung, who says that after 40 something changes and you start to see things differently. I think that
Oh yeah.
after 40 it was like, fuck. Is this all there is?
What am I doing with my life? Yes,
And
it's all
but not that,
there
there's
is.
something wrong, but like things needs to have more meaning, more purpose. Everything I do needs to be more purposeful, not to waste time on everything that it's like you should do that, and you just pick the thing and do something with it, regardless if this is pointless or whatever. Just this is your job and you have to do it. I think this was the major part, that I need to do something that will have more meaning. Like this was the main point,
But isn't
probably
it?
for me.
But isn't
And
it beautiful?
now I'm in the jungle.
Now you're in the jungle. Yeah, but this is exactly what I want to say. Like, isn't it beautiful that we can now like go through the jungle and to see what else is out there? Because I think so
Yeah.
many people, they might have this thought of this whisper of like, is that all that there is? And not everyone has the courage to go through the jungle. Like most people still stay on the highway, right? And they do go the more traditional way. So for me, you mentioned that, things change after 40. I don't know if it's, the magic number, but I do believe or feel also for myself that we just look at things differently. Like, I think at the beginning of our adult life, like, we kind of want to make it, right? Like, we kind of want to like prove ourselves that we can make it, and we want to be successful in some way. So, and there are some prescribed ways to be successful. So we tried that, and then we realized like, actually, or we then have the choice, right? We can then say, do I want to stay on the highway, or do I want to go a different way? Maybe I just want to go on a different highway, right? Maybe it's this. But even reflecting about that, I think for me it's a really, really beautiful thing. And we can also like take a moment to reflect, and we can still decide to stay where we are, right? If we feel this is our way, or change the highway, or maybe there is already like a little path. Maybe we don't have to go through the jungle altogether. Right? Maybe there is a little bit of a
Yeah.
path.
It is like they said, we are exactly where we're supposed to be. But the question is, what shall we do in the future from this point on? So we have a choice, like you said.
Yes, and like how often I hear that also working with my clients, because many, or sometimes we think, and many of the clients, they come to me and they like and ask, okay, so what is my path, right? And how do I know that this is my path? And so there's way, to work it out for them. But another thing is what I tell them is, you know what, like we want to find our path for now, which doesn't mean that this path is going to stay your path for the rest of your life. And this is, I think, a huge difference to, the previous generations and, our generation and then younger. Because before it was like, okay, you took one way and then you continued, right? You took a job and you stayed there for like 40 years, right? This is like it was very often the case for the generation of our parents. For us, like I'm taking my own example. I've pivoted already like 4 times, right? And I don't know, like I might pivot again at some point. So I think this is like really, we live in a beautiful, like the time that we live in is gives us so many opportunities. And I think taking off the pressure of like, oh, if I take this path, I have to stay on this one. Like, no, you don't. You stay for as long it feels good to you. Period.
Yeah, I was just listening to a live panel on a festival here in Slovenia. It's called Different, and it is different because people are coming from mainly probably from business, and it's all like really relaxed in nature, no suits, just shorts, shirts,
And flip
t-shirts.
flops.
So yeah, and flip flops exactly.
Or barefoot.
And it was interesting because the topic was about reinvention, and there were two guys talking. It was a beautiful and moderated conversation, and it was a beautiful conversation because they shared their story, how in their life came a moment of realization that something like the bulb in the cartoons, oh, that's the thing, and they completely changed their path, and it was, they never looked back. It was all different, and this was the right way, and this happened several times throughout their lives. And I think this will also in the future happen more and more often. It won't be like once or twice in a lifetime. It will happen more often because of the speed of life that we have. But I think that the main thing is how to surrender, because we may hear the intuition, the voice that is calling us, but then how to surrender and say, okay, I'm surrendering to this path and I'm going forward. I think this is the difficult
Yeah,
part.
it is very difficult indeed. And this is also a process that I am in, trying to surrender more. There was also the part of the conversation I was having yesterday with my friend, where I said, yes, I do less now. And there is a part of me that is super happy about it. And there is still the other part of me that is saying like, no, I should be doing more. I should be working more. I should be having like more clients, like, more doing. And so what I said is like, yeah, that this part of me that tells me to do more just needs to be loved on, because this is what I learned. This is what I have been for nearly 4 decades. Well, maybe a little less, but still for decades. So to rewire, it's not like, it doesn't go like in a blink of an eye, right? Like it takes time. So again, like those strategies, they were there for a reason, right? And can we give ourselves the grace and also the time to go through the process? Because those parts, they will not just disappear. Like they need our attention, right? So I think the surrender part is, for me, it's this, like, can I tend to this part of me? Can I see what it needs? Can I see why it's even there? Again, I'm not saying it's easy, because it's not at all. Just imagine, like, those two pieces or parts of you, and then like they're constantly like in conflict. One wants, like, be less, be more, and the other one wants, to do more. It's like, and you're right in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah, this is like an invitation to a IFS session.
Absolutely. Exactly.
To see your parts. Yeah, because for sure these parts were part of you because they fulfilled your needs in the past.
Exactly.
They kept you seen, safe, whatever needs
And
you have.
successful. They made me super successful at the same time.
Yeah.
So yeah, we also want to see that, right? Like, we don't want to just say like, oh no, you're just bad, I don't want you anymore.
Yeah, and we need to be grateful for those parts to have, because maybe they can come handy also in the futures.
I actually want them to, exactly. I want this part to stay. I want this part. Like, I don't want this part to maybe, be very dominant and to run my life all the time. And I definitely want the part to stay.
But still, I think because we are talking about surrender, I think a lot when I say surrender, maybe it's the language differences in different language, but a lot of people see surrender as giving up. So now I'm giving up, I don't know, my successful life, and surrendering to something more at ease. So it may be confusing, but it's not the same. We cannot see this as a give up. This is surrendering, like is to step into the process fully. Or how?
As you said, it's probably one of the most difficult things, to surrender fully and to be okay with what is, and also to have the courage, right, to surrender. Also because of what you just said, also because many people would see it differently. So it requires courage to go for the jungle, and it requires courage, it is interesting, right, to surrender, because people will judge. So and this is not something that we don't want to be judged, right? We want to be supported, we want to be validated, we want to be praised.
Yeah. But who are the people who will judge? So this is also the question. Are these people who are meant to be our supporters in our life, or are these some people which we can afford to like lose in our life? Because I don't know, we change, people change. We are not fit for each other throughout the whole life. So yeah.
Another interesting kind of mechanism that you're bringing up, like also when you talk about social media, right? Like you have followers that you've never even met in your life, and you, for some reason, you do care like what they think about you. Like we do care what they think about us, right? And like, is it even important? Like we don't even know them, right? So I think it is again something. It's another survival strategy, right? Back in the years, like we needed a community, right? Like we needed other people, otherwise we wouldn't like survive, literally, right? Like the lion or the bear would eat us if we wouldn't be in the community. We wouldn't have the support of the community. Well, we don't live a life that we are running away from lions and bears, but we still kept the survival strategy. So that's why it requires work and it requires courage. So it's like we have to be very intentional about that, because like when we think about it, as you just said, like they're not even that important, or what I said, like we don't even know them oftentimes. Like why do we care?
I was just listening probably yesterday to one of the recent podcast episodes of Alisa Norbriga. I don't know. Do you know?
Yes.
And the guest was Blue. I don't know if you're familiar with Blue, but for all, I recommend to follow both of them. And it was strange because she also mentioned like, and then some guy, I don't know, Joe189 comment something, and this would mean that like it needs to be the end of everything. I should, I don't know, pay attention to that comment to some guy which I don't even know who he is. And it is a she has a point, and you have a point, because if we somehow accept these judgments, or how to put these comments, then we cannot be creative. We cannot follow our path in our life. We will always stay in some safe cocoon and wait the life to pass by, because we are too afraid to step out of it.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also important to mention here, or just ask the question of how much do we accept ourselves? Because if we are at peace with ourselves, if we are like super content with who we are and what we do and what we say and how we act, I don't think we would care much about what other people say. So, and like I think this is the most difficult piece of it all. It comes down to the self-love, self-acceptance.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know, maybe let's put it a bit more practical for those who are listening. We are talking about how to be a less human doing and more human being. This was like the beginning of the conversation. Yeah. Do we have some, I don't know, practical tips if someone realizes that its life, his or her life, is too much in a doing mode? Where can they begin to go towards the more being mode?
A very good question, a very interesting one. It's one that I've been already asked also by my clients. What I would suggest, and it's just a suggestion because, we're all different and we have to see what works for us. But when and I was also, I was a doer, like so much. So I needed to apply it also for myself. So my suggestion would be to literally schedule being, to put it like in your calendar, be it, an hour or two a day, but like to have that in your calendar as you have, any other appointment or to do. Because I think, otherwise, switch from doing to, and now like I'm supposed to be like it could be just too much. So when we schedule it, for the brain is like, like another to do, but then schedule half an hour. I ask my clients to go for like a 5-minute walk, or because, this is for them and for their nervous system acceptable. And then we extend it to 10 minutes or to 15 minutes or to half an hour, right? So you train your nervous system to be okay with more being. So you don't go from working 14 to 16 hours a day to then being 6 hours a day, and then working. For me, it has to be a gradual process, because otherwise, it will be just too much, and everything in our bodies and our nervous system will just rebel it and will sabotage it and will just not work. So this is where I would start.
This is a much better approach than I was trying out. When we were training,
please, what did you try?
When we were training at Elementum, I think it was Steph who said that it is a good exercise for one weekend not to do anything. And then I caught myself in the other sentence, because this is really challenging for me, not to do anything. It's like this is, yes. It's not in my nature. And then he said, and it also means that you don't think about what you would do if you would be doing something. So not just to eliminate doing, also eliminate thinking about doing. And this was then even harder. So if I'm not doing, and then I'm not even thinking about doing, this was too much.
Yeah, it is it is a lot. So I would say let's not overwhelm ourselves with that. Let's go step by step.
Yeah. Step by step, it's much better. Yeah, I agree.
And I'm so much with you. So I just want to share one story. So one time, year and a half ago, I forced myself for more than a month. I was in Portugal, and I forced myself not to work. And I was trying to force myself more to be and to do less. It was one of the hardest things for me ever to do. So what I would do, just, very related to what you said, I would go to the beach. But then, just being at the beach wasn't enough. I would take a podcast, I would take a book, I would take my journal, so that I do at least something, right? And then I would think, okay, what event can I go to so I fill that being time, right? So, and I was observing that as how crazy is that, right? That it's so difficult to really be. And a very, very good practice, I would say, that I think we could all do more of, and we would all benefit from.
Yeah. And I can add something. I tried, I think it didn't last a month, but I tried to be to actually live without consuming any kind of, without learning, without consuming podcasts, books, articles.
You see my reaction? Whoa, how is it possible? Please continue.
I mean, it is hard, because I am commuting to work usually 3 times a week, and it's 45 minutes to 1 hour drive in one direction. Mm-hmm. And not to have podcasts, it was not a nightmare. I had music, I like music, but I was all the time questioning myself, why am I doing this? What's the how is this beneficial for me if I'm not learning something new?
Yeah.
So it was strange for me. And now I'm back to podcasts. So
Well, I think if you listen to good podcasts, like we can really learn a lot from them. And I mean, it's so beautiful that you also tried, that you had this practice. I also remember the first time I drove to Portugal with my car, which, takes days. And I actually didn't listen to podcasts, or I didn't listen even to music much. What I would do, I would like call people, because I have long distances, you can just, talk to them. I would send voice messages, but I wouldn't listen. I wouldn't have a lot of input. And I was really enjoying it, right? Because I mean, you're still entertained when you drive, because you have to concentrate. There is always something happening on the road. But most of the people, they were so surprised that I could even do this. And I think it really depends on our mental state, right?
yeah, but it is some kind of strange anxiety. I don't know how to call it, because this is like the need to know more, to learn more, not to miss anything interesting. Like, ooh, this one, like a new episode, this one, I need to listen to this one. This one is good for sure. I see the guest and so on.
The next one is gonna be the one.
And it actually never ends, because you cannot have all the information that exists. You cannot.
Nowadays, for sure not. Yes.
Yeah, and you cannot be the, I don't know it all kind of human being.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is also like a surrendering part, that I need to surrender and let it go. I don't need to know everything. I can pick what I would like to learn and be at ease with this. I cannot read all the books, even though I would like to read them. But yeah.
You know what? Well, I'm also speaking for myself. I think it's another way of distracting ourselves. And we can say, well, but I'm learning, I'm growing, right? I am becoming a better human, a better coach, a better whatnot, right? But oftentimes it is a distraction. Not to be with what is, again, like that what we said what we say from the beginning.
Yeah, and it is so good to question ourselves, like, who are we when we stop doing, stop achieving, stop learning? Who are we beneath
Another example.
all this?
Another example for this one, there was a period of time in my life when I was unemployed. There was a period of transition from my last employment into being self-employed and being a business owner. And when I would meet new people, they would ask me what I'm doing. And very often we identify through like what we do professionally. And because I wasn't doing anything professionally, like people were not able to like label me. So it was very uncomfortable because like you put a label, I don't know, yoga instructor, coach, HR person, like whatever.
Yeah.
It's like so much easier for us. Such an interesting experience, I have to say.
Yeah, but these labels are so deeply rooted into our identities. Actually, these are our identities.
Yes.
Because I love to, it's not teasing, but it's like changing the perspective when we are in some kind of maybe business rooms and so on. And we need to introduce ourselves also with like coaching gatherings. A lot of coaches, and they will also introduce like, I am a, I don't know, this and this coach and that. And I usually begin like, I'm a father, I'm a husband, and I'm starting with different roles that I have in my life, not what do I do professionally. Okay. And it's strange because people are sometimes looking like I'm some kind of escaping from the jungle maybe, like, what is this guy talking about?
I love that.
What do you do actually?
Because you break the mental pattern, right? Like this is what we would usually start with, and they're like, oh, like wait a second, like which drawer do I put him into, right? To make it easy for me.
Yeah. Good. I think it's good to have these conversations completely not structured like today.
Like
And
no structure whatsoever, not even like a topic or
and would you like to add something to this
Yes, yeah,
conversation?
there was
Yeah.
something that towards the end it was like wanting to be expressed. My experience, my experience now being in Portugal and having or trying to have, not actually having a slower life, is that it can be much richer in experiences because, as I said before, when we are going super fast and focusing only on executing, we really miss so much what's happening around us. Like you would not see the butterfly, you would not smell, you will not have the time to really smell the coffee that you drink. You will not feel the breeze, of the ocean on your skin. We have to slow down for those. So you will not even have the time to talk to your neighbor. And this is what I do quite a lot here. Right? So it's a
Yeah.
very, very different. So you start seeing and experiencing very different things. And you might think those are like very simple things, like maybe even meaningless. But I started to see and feel so much meaning in those moments. And actually, I don't want to trade them for more doing anymore.
Yeah, but this is the actual life because this is presence. You are present and you are seeing, feeling, tasting, smelling things that are actually around you.
Yeah,
Because in most cases in our life, we live in the past or we live in the future,
in the future, yeah,
and
so much.
we simply don't see the life as it is. So, which is sad,
It
because
is.
we are
It,
living on a beautiful planet. We have beautiful nature, other people, a lot of interesting things are happening, and we are somehow living somewhere else instead of
yes,
being here
yeah.
and living the moment.
So I would strongly recommend that, to allow ourselves to have that. Maybe not all the time, because I don't think we are even able with the programming that we have to do it all the time. But allowing ourselves those moments of really being. And like this morning, I opened the door, and the cat of the neighbor came over. And if I would be rushing, for whatever, I wouldn't even notice her, right? And then she came in, and I petted her, and I was like, just I don't know, a couple of minutes, but it's actually so rewarding to be doing that. So just my invitation.
Yeah,
And
great.
also here, that's not something that comes very natural to me. It's something that I learn, or I am now in the process of learning.
Yeah, it's great to have this awareness, and this is quite difficult because I also catch myself a lot of time, like in that go 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 mood. Like we need to hurry, especially
Yes,
with kids. I have this.
I wanted to say yes.
Yeah, I think a lot of times I slow down and I thought, what am I actually teaching my kids? Because I'm just rushing them like, go, we need to be in a hurry. It's 10 minutes to school. We need to go. You have to be punctual. And then on the other hand, maybe if they are slow that morning, they just need some attention from me. Maybe it's enough to sit by them for 2 minutes and just ask
Yeah,
few questions, what's going on, whatever, and the day can be completely different for them and for me.
I think.
So it's yeah, it's a difficult part to have the slowness in this fast world then that we are living in,
It's
but we can do
courageous.
we
It's
can do
really
it.
courageous to do that, to do it,
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
And I think when you have a family, when you have kids, it's like really next level.
Yeah,
Next level challenge.
it is.
So also here, don't be too harsh on yourself. I think all we can do is just, to try and to try it on. and to see how it goes and how we feel with that.
So, if people listening this, our conversation, will remember only one thing from today's conversation, what you hope this thing is.
I had it immediately in my head, and I would say, smell your coffee. I actually don't drink, I don't drink coffee anymore. I do drink decaf only, but that stands for me for presence. Just be present. Just be.
Yeah. And I need to add something.
I wanted to actually ask you, what would it be for you? What would you say?
I think that if there's a voice in your head that is maybe quiet and you're shutting this voice down over and over again, just listen to that voice. And if that voice says, try maybe to go through the jungle, or maybe try some other highway, listen to it and do the first step. It does not have to be a huge step. It does not have to be a completely change your life, but just listen to it and explore what is beneath that voice, because life is short and we cannot waste it just to stay safe. And
we can, but I don't think we want
yeah,
that.
we can, but yeah, it's a sad to waste our life just to stay at the same place and be safe, and then at the end of the life maybe wonder what might have happened if our choice would be different back then.
Yeah, I love that you said that. Can I add one more thing?
Yeah.
Just related to what you said. Somebody shared a reel with me, and it was like a list of things that we could be doing more of. Like, I don't know, follow the wind, or like slowing down or grow. And I actually asked the person who shared it with me, like, what his favorite is. And then he asked me what my favorite is, and I actually picked listen to the quiet. Because I think we very often tend to override that. And it can be the quiet voice within. It can be also, quiet people. When people don't speak, doesn't mean that they don't have anything to say, very often. But also the quiet voice within us. I think, as you just beautifully said, I think there is so much underneath this quiet voice. So, no coincidences here, but I just came to me, wanted to share that listen to the quiet is absolutely one that is very important, and one that isn't easy. The noise of the highway, right, is just so loud. And the noise of life is just so loud. It's not easy to listen to the quiet voice.
Yeah. Great. And I think this is a great ending of this conversation, of this episode. And of course, to be continued probably next month.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, likewise. I enjoyed these conversations.
To be continued soon.
With the topic which we probably won't know
exactly
until we see each other again.
No, we're just flowing, right? We're just flowing. We're surrendering and flowing with what is and what comes.
Yeah. Great. So have a nice time, and we'll hear and see each other in the next episode.
Thank you so much.